Am I the asshole for wanting to be paid for babysitting my own daughter? My 39M wife, 34F, and I live in at a suburban house with our daughter, 10F, Emily. Our neighbor next door, 48M, Walter, is a single father with 2 daughters, 14F and 12F. We have been living here for a little more than 2 years. My wife really likes watching scary movies, but I have never enjoyed them. I get too scared and end up having a bad time, so I prefer to avoid them. Her friends sometimes go with her to the more popular ones, but she also likes older, indies and foreign horror movies. She has always had a hard time finding people that have this niche interest, and that is why it was such a big deal when we met Walter and found out he also shares this tendency. They very quickly started to make plans to watch movies together. I was invited to be a part of this but refused. I prefer to just stay at home babysitting Emily and Walter's daughter while they are in their cinephile reunions. Sometimes they go to movie theaters, but other times they just stay at Walter's place watching stuff at his home cinema. They usually have to go to another town in order to catch a specific function of some weird movie, so it is normal for them to come back very late. They eventually started doing stuff outside of watching movies, like going out for dinner. Walter invited all of us, including the kids, to go with him to a restaurant that a friend of him owned, but I said no because it was too expensive. I don't like that kind of places because I feel they are a waste of money and didn't think the kids would enjoy it either. I insisted on staying with the kids and let the 2 of them go be themselves. This has become a regular thing, and it is in a way a good deal for me because Walter pays for my wife's dinner and she can't no longer complain about me not taking her to fancy restaurants. As both their movie and dinner nights had become so common, I have grown a little tired of the burden of constantly babysitting the girls. I talked to my wife and Walter about it, and he explained that he usually does not like leaving his daughters with babysitters. He says he is really comfortable knowing that they are being watched by an experienced father like me instead of some teenage girl. He nevertheless agreed that it was too much of a load for me and offered to start paying me a standard babysitter fee each time he goes out with my wife. I thought that was a fair approach to the issue, but my wife was fully against it. She says I should not be paid for babysitting my own daughter nor the daughters of a close friend of our family like Walter. We have been arguing about this, but she insists on this notion and it not open to change. She even gets mad every time I talk to her about this. Walter promised me that he will convince her, but he does not seem to have been able to do so either. Am I the asshole? What do you think? Are they the asshole? Leave your opinion in the comments.
Am I the asshole for taking my kids to my parents' house to sleep because my husband will not enforce the rules when his parents visit? We live 3 blocks away from my parents and they see our kids almost every day. Hey, husband's parents live a couple of states away and only see the kids a few times a year. It's easy when we go see them since we only visit when the kids are off school. But when they come see us, it is at random intervals through the year. Not a problem really, they are excellent grandparents. With one small exception. They think our rules go out the window when they visit. It's mean that we don't make the kids their favorite food every day. Why can't the kids watch TV with them before they do their chores and homework? Why do the kids have to be in bed so early? It drives me crazy that I'm the bad guy because my husband won't put his foot down, so I have to do it. They came last week. On Monday, as soon as dinner was over, they wanted the kids to pay attention to them. They wanted to take the kids to see Avatar. On a school night. My husband allowed it. Last straw. I told him that he knew that throwing the kids off their schedule screwed me over. So I gave him the choice of either enforcing our rules or I would. He said he would take care of it. Second night there was a hockey game on. He wanted to watch it with our son who loves hockey. I reminded my husband that our son had chores to do and homework. He said it was just a hockey game. I told the kids to get their stuff. I took them and a change of clothes and their homework to my parents' house. My mom and dad will watch them and then take them to school in the morning. I went back home and they were waiting for me. I'm being a controlling and abusive person by denying them time with the kids. I'm not the only person allowed to make decisions regarding the kids. They came all this way to see them and I'm being a jerk by keeping them on a schedule. Fine. They are visiting for a couple of weeks. Wednesday after I picked up the kids from school and dropped them off at home with my in-laws. Then I went out for the first time in ages. I told my husband I would be out late and didn't want to wake anyone, so I would be at my parents' house. Did the same thing Thursday through tonight. My husband has been calling and texting and coming over to tell me I need to come home because the house is a disaster because his parents won't do anything. They are in vacation and they are there to see the kids, not clean up. The kids are having a fun time with no rules, and he has been contacted by the school because no homework was turned in on Thursday or Friday. I didn't answer those texts. I said I would be back after his parents left or he enforced the rules. He said I was taking it too far and that it was affecting his work. Honestly, tough shit. Edit. My son just texted me about his gym clothes for today. I guess he never put them on the hamper and they didn't get washed. Now I'm wondering what else my husband didn't get done. Edit 2 to add information. Kids are 9 and 11. In-laws visit 4 or 5 times a year for at least a week. What do you think? Are they the asshole? Leave your opinion in the comments. Am I the asshole for being racist to my son's girlfriend? I, 39M, have a son, 17M, who recently got a girlfriend. His girlfriend is black and a very nice, kind and beautiful young lady. I have met her and invited her for dinner and family events plenty of times, and she's a joy to be around. But recently my mother has been staying with us because she is recovering from a surgery she had and she's going on 70 years old, so she can't do much on her own. Long story short, my mother is a classic racist and being a raging narcissist, and she is not one to hold back from her opinions. I showed her a photo of my son and his girlfriend and she went on a 2-hour rant about bloodlines and kept saying they don't look right, and when I said she was coming to dinner she said doesn't want the girl near her because it'll disturb her, so last minute I told her she could not come. My son has been trying to invite his girlfriend over every day since, but I said no multiple times due to his grandmother being here and her saying she doesn't want her near her. I just don't want any problems. But he argues that I am being a complacent racist by even allowing her to be here. And even more so for not allowing her to come over to protect a racist. He says I should have told her to leave the moment my mother said all that stuff. But my mother is an elderly woman who can hardly make it on her own as it is. Definitely much harder after surgery. Though I don't agree with her, I can just leave her to fend for herself. I literally do not know what to do. My wife says my son is right about me being complacent, but of course she'd agree because her and my mother don't get along well. I know I am not a damned racist. But now everyone is saying I am aiding one by taking my mother's side. So am I the asshole? Edit. Hello everyone, last night I posted this after me and my son argued over this all day and my wife is giving me the silent treatment. I can really reply to anyone because the moderators locked this post. I woke up this morning with thousands of notifications. I just posted this thinking maybe 20 people would reply. The messages and comments are overwhelming. But I will answer everything as best as I can. Firstly, no, I cannot afford to put my mother in a home. I'm not rich and I'm not poor, but I do have 3 children I need to provide for and my wife. The savings I have I won't spend on anything but their college funds. And my mother definitely doesn't have the money to afford those homes. She lives by herself, with me and younger my sister occasionally going over a few times a week to help her. This situation is just special because she had benign tumor removed. If I could have, I would have had her stay with my sister, but my sister is pregnant and very soon to go into labor. So I offered her to stay. She is a difficult person to be around, but she's my mother and she still has about 7 more weeks until she's able to go back to being on her own. Second, I have no problem with my son's girlfriend. I actually would be happy if he chose to settle down with her in the future. I want to welcome her in my home. She had been coming over and basically a part of the family for months now up until this. And now my son says she thinks we don't want her around anymore. I can see why people are saying I am the asshole after reading through. I still am unsure how to go about this still. People are saying I should invite her over and tell my mom that she will not say anything out of the norm to her or else I'll send her off. But people are also saying I should not bring her over, knowing it's a possibility that my mother will do something anyway. Kicking my mother to curb for now is not an option, but I will privately tell his girlfriend the situation and ask her what she would like to do and make arrangements from there. Also, people are calling my son an off for wanting her to come over because of this. I am okay with being criticized on here, but please do not shame my son. I think he is just getting anxious because him and her don't go to the same school and the only way they see each other at my house, because my son says her father is very overprotective and intimidates him every time he goes to her house. I do understand I was going about this in a very easy way by just doing what my mother says for the time being because I did not want to start drama. But she is the bad guy in the situation and she is the one who needs to change, and I should not be accommodating her prejudice ways, and my son or his girlfriend should not have to suffer because of her. Thanks for all the advice. What do you think? Are they the asshole? Leave your opinion in the comments.